guys, and welcome to another polymer clay tutorial. Today we are going to create the Mandalorian. Today's creation is one of my favorites so far I have ever created. Watch the video and you will know why. I can't wait to get started to create the Mandalorian from the TV series The Mandalorian. You ask a lot about this creation, and when I first saw it, well, of course it reminded me of Boba Fett, and that's alright because I am the older generation Star Wars guy. I asked you which character I should create next, and most of you replied in the comments it should be the Mandalorian. Let's get started. I'm really excited. I think this is by far the longest and one of the most complex tutorials I have ever recorded and shown you. And you can either decide to create the left version I am doing or the right one, just with a pistol in the hand with a blaster. But I thought it would be nice to create somehow a mixture of both postures. The left one is the one you see a lot when you see advertisement from the Mandalorian. It's just where he is walking, you see the rifle on his back and the blaster is right on his belt. This is the very base layer, this is the main color we are mixing. It's somehow his underwear. It's a mixture of different colors, you have just seen that. If you have the feeling that it is a little bit too bright, just throw in a little bit of black and it will be alright. We are coating the arms and of course also the other one. And guys, I can tell you, I can't believe it! Woohoo! That's it! The Mandalorian! Okay, I'm just kidding. This video is just about to get started, but even for me it sometimes is ridiculous that something like that will be looking very beautiful in the future. So please hang in there, don't give up if you have the feeling that your creation sucks. I have the same feeling every time I get started, especially all the Fortnite skins, for example. They all started just like that, with one or two base colors, and I am always comparing to the blueprint to get the right shape, all the right proportions. Meanwhile, we are adding some important body parts. Because even the bottom, for example, is quite helpful for the rope. Without the right proportions and without all the right body parts, the rope doesn't feel and look natural when putting over his body. So now that we are cutting away some parts of the clay right on the feet, we can start mixing our own brownish gray for the boots, for his boots. This is how I am mixing these. I am just taking the main color from the body. This is why I'm saying main color or base layer. It's quite helpful to use this very color a lot and throwing it into different colors so that you get a really nice color spectrum and all the colors just match perfectly. We take the scissors, and as this is leather, or at least a very thin layer of clay, we can just cut it away and cut it into shape the way we need the boots to be. And boots are quite simple to make. You have this coating part, the upper part, and the lower part is just wrapping around the wire. You're seeing that I am always doing this curve right in the wire at the very bottom, at the lowest part of the armature, and these are the soles. I'm just taking the very same color I just used for the boots, because there is no color differentiation. Sorry for the word, for the pronunciation. And we start. This was really fun to create. We start to create all these tiny wrinkles and dents in the fabric in his clothes, because in the end all these details decide over which material it should supposed to be. In the end it's just clay, and with our details we can decide what this is supposed to be. Is it fabric, or should it be like stone, or should it be like a bush or a tree? So it really depends on all the details and on the textures you're putting in. And this is why I spend some extra time on all these wrinkles on his fabric, because as I told you before, it's just the base layer of our creation, and we will put a lot of different layers above, but we make sure that the very first layer looks perfect. There you go. For example, we make another wrap on just his right boot. It's gray with a little bit of brown inside as well. And we even add some more details on top. I tend to create these details with many different layers, oftentimes just too thick. So when creating boots, for example, make sure that you start really thin, because every additional layer brings its own thickness and it makes it thicker and thicker, as you can see right now. Probably I should have gone even a little bit thinner. Even this time we have this beautiful pocket on his right boot, and then another detail on this leather stripe right at the front. I try to imitate the leather structure. Later in this tutorial I'm literally using fabric to get a really nice fabric clothing look. Maybe I should have done that with the leather part as well. So now we take some silver, we make a stripe, a very thin stripe, because we have some knee protection right there, only on his right knee. So maybe we should make it a little bit thinner, and then we can start applying it to his leg. Look at that, it already looks so fantastic, so nice. Somehow like a Fortnite skin, I can't help to notice that. And sometimes I'm even wondering on the set design of a popular series like The Mandalorian, if the set designers maybe compared their designs to popular games which are out there. Maybe not at Star Wars. I think they are really close to the movies, the Star Wars movies. So, for example, Boba Fett, the Mandalorian looks almost like Boba Fett. But for new characters, I think they use some trends in character designs you see in games, for example. We have some more protection parts. These are the leg protections, and they are different on each leg. We have the ochre one on the right one and this red brownish one on the left. And we will add some more silver details as well to the left leg, because this one has a completely different design, and I love that when characters are not just left leg, right leg the same, but when they are always different. For the Mandalorian, for example, you would really believe him that he built his own armor, that he found all the different parts in the desert, for example, or on different planets, and that every time he found a really nice part, he applied it to his wardrobe, for example. We have some bullets on his right leg. Of course, they play an important role, and we will later add some more bullets to his clothing on different parts. But for now, we are adding the next layer. This is supposed to be leather, I guess, so make sure to make a very thin layer, otherwise he would just look fat. And then we would have Boba Fett. This is the problem I was talking about earlier. Make sure that All the thin layers are really thin, otherwise it will change the shape of your creation. And it's just a pity when you spend so much time on, let's say, the amateur with a blueprint, and then you screw up with all the different layers because your creation is getting thicker and thicker. I see that in many images which you send me when you want to show me that you have worked on some characters, for example, on your own. This green stripe is really helpful to get this texture on fabric, for example. I used that a lot in many former tutorials. Then we have another chest protection plate, and I'm not really sure. You may judge if I screwed up on this. I think I should have created it a little bit bigger, but I'm not really sure about that because I found different images. We have this silver item right in the middle. I won't spoiler anything from the series, so don't worry. And we have another part, and then we will add it to the thin layer of ochre. This is the ochre which just comes out of the box, so no mixture needed. Then we make a really dark brown. Look at that. It's 50% black and 50% brown. And be careful, after oven hardening, almost every color gets slightly darker. And some colors, the apple green for example, will change a lot. So when I created the very first creations with apple green, I was somehow disappointed because I spent hours and hours on the creation. The goblins from Clash Royale, for example, and then it changed its color completely. We have silver, this is unmixed as well, and we make these lines, they go to the sides. I think it's another protection part, some armor, and we have the really dark brown we just mixed, and we will just cut away some parts because this is part of the belt. Back me up here. I think these are thermal detonators. Of course, they look a little bit different, but now when we add these circles and also red clay in the middle, I think yes, these are thermal detonators. But again, back me up here. If you know for sure, write it down in the comments so that everyone can read that. And we will add this tiny detailed part to the belt on the side of our creation, and it already looks so fantastic. The main reason, let me put it this way, there are many reasons why this is probably one of the top 5 creations I have ever done. The main reason would be the crazy details I could make on this character. All these different bags, for example, the weapons, the clothing, all these different layers. This is what a character makes look really interesting. We have some more bullets. It's always 4, I think. And another 3. No, it's not always 4. Another 3 go to the belt, but I'm not really sure if there is maybe just 1 missing or just 1 in the blaster or in the rifle, for example. So we put these right onto the creation and it already looks amazing. Just take a thin layer of this dark brown clay and we will create the holder for the blaster. I think it's just called holster. And we are just cutting away the clay with the scissors. And we have some more details on the side as well. It should look like just really dark leather, like in this favorite scene from the old Star Wars movies where Han Solo is sitting in the cantina and he is slowly opening his holster to take his blaster and shooting down Greedo. Yeah, his name was Greedo. These are the shoulder pads, the shoulder armor pieces, and they are all stitched onto the very base layer we created right at the beginning. The right one is red-brown, and the left one has this turquoise. Why on earth would I say turquoise? Doesn't even look like turquoise. It's ochre. We will put it on the left arm. Look at that. It almost looks like the Mandalorian. You can recognize this pattern when you just imagine the blue stripes right there. And we can put it onto the plate. Let's save it. Let's put it into the oven. Freshly baked. First parts of the Mandalorian, and it's already standing without any help. Look at that. We take the red brown and we will use it for the lower parts of the arms, and we have some really nasty details right there. So it will be really tricky to get all the fingers and the palm of the hand at the exact right position. So make sure to create all the parts right from the beginning, because otherwise when you screw up with the lower part of the arms, you will also screw up on the hands. For example, we have these parts, some leather stripes, I guess, and we have some more leather stripes right there. It should just look amazing. Yeah, also amazing, but just interesting. Most of the time you don't really have to understand each and every detail. Well, at least for myself. When I'm speaking for myself, I can tell you that I don't really understand everything I am creating right there. But sometimes you just come up with your own solutions or with your own ideas, and sometimes you don't even think about it. You just put all the beautiful details right there. This is the thumb. Later we will add some skin color to this creation, the fingers, and we will make also these pads on the back side of his gloves. And this is the skin color I'm using. Maybe I should have taken a slightly darker one. There are these professional colors, these professional skin colors you can get in our online store, in the Clay Wizard, where you can choose all the different colors, and I think there are even 6 different skin colors for each tone, or you just throw in some white or some brown, some red to get all the different nuances of the skin colors which are out there. For this color, it looks a little bit too bright, the one from the fingers, not the silver one. But in the oven it will get darker, so don't worry. This is the blaster. I love the design of this blaster. We have this circle where we have the trigger of the blaster, and we will add some more details that it just looks interesting. So my plan is we won't put it right onto the creation, because I think it's just too thin and too long, and in the oven it would just change the shape, and it would be a pity when his cool blaster looks like a banana, for example. So we will put it onto the plate, and after oven hardening we will add it to the hand. Therefore I will remove the fingers from his right hand. From our perspective it's the left one, and we will add the oven hardened blaster afterwards. So this is the rifle, the very characteristic one. I'm not sure if there is a special term for that, so I just call it rifle. Sorry if I did a huge mistake by just calling it rifle. And we add some different colors. You need the silver, a dark silver. I just threw in some black, you have just seen that. Some black, and that's it. Later we will also use some copper. It's copper, I think so. And we have these thin worms, which makes it really difficult to create. Also, the black telescope we're about to create in a minute is so thin. So right now I'm a little bit worried that it will break or just change the shape and then look like another banana. Maybe I should have put in a really thin wire, but let's try it just like that. We will leave it on the paper as it is right now. I will carefully put it into the oven and hopefully it works. So this is the telescope we're adding. Look at that! It already looks so amazing. And we have this copper color, which makes it somehow a little bit dirty, but that's what Star Wars is for me. It's not that shiny episode 1 version. Well, no hate, I love episode 1. Yes, you heard me right. But it's this dirty look, you know, from the old movies, the old Star Wars movies, which makes it so lovable and adorable. Well, not adorable, maybe this is the wrong word for Star Wars, but it makes it so, what's the right word? Authentic? Yeah, it's authentic. It is that dirty. And I tried to get that same look by throwing in all the black, for example, or not washing the hands in between different colors, so that it all gets a little bit dirty. Yeah, I make sure that I don't screw up right now, because the weapons look great, I think, and I just put them with the paper onto the plate. The same also for the rifle. Ah, look at that. This goes right there. And these are the fingers. Let's put them aside. I just told you, let's first oven harden the pistol, the blaster, and after oven hardening we can take care of the grip and take care how the fingers should be formed. No, I can tell you, I was frightened before I got started with the head, because this is normally the part where I really screw up on human faces in general. But as it is a helmet, as it is really geometrically, I thought I should give it a try and create it this way. It's a new technique, so I'm just cutting it into 2 halves. Maybe we should change it. Yeah, let's go with that one, because we can see some more details right in there. So what I am doing, I am just creating on one of these halves. The other one will just stay where it is in the upper left corner, so we can cut and get all these hard edges, sharp edges on his mask, on his helmet. And then we will carefully put it into the oven, and after that we will take part of the backside of his head. And hopefully, in theory, we won't screw up, we won't touch the face too often that it changes the shape. Right now I'm only creating with silver. We have the black part where we can see and smell, probably. And this will also be done after oven hardening. So, let's get ready, let's get into the oven. Freshly baked! Part 2! Second time we've been into the oven. And now, I could have never done that with regular clay or without oven hardening, because otherwise our face would just like look Jabba the Hutt, probably, by now. So, by oven hardening you make sure that you don't screw up on some important parts. Now we take the backside of his head, of his helmet, we will attach it, and we make this important cut. Another one, and look at the helmet. I think the shape looks great. Now we can take care of all the details on the helmet, which is mainly this black thin layer of black clay within the part where we can see and speak and smell. And I'm really careful with that because I don't want to screw up on this. Look at that. I am already so curious what it will look like when I will attach this helmet to the creation layer. Let's do that. Maybe we should add some more clay for the neck. I'm not really sure if you will see that later, but it gives some distance between the head and the torso, and this seems a good idea to me. We will add some more wrinkles, of course. Maybe just remove some clay and let's put it onto the torso. Look at that. Oh, it looks like the Mandalorian. Now the oven hardened blaster, the fingers. Let's put these together. Let's put the finger onto the trigger. Is it called trigger? I'm not sure about that. We take some super glue and make sure that it won't drop when we have to make another session in the oven. And putting all the fingers right in position. Oh, it looks amazing! Look at that! Now, all the last parts we have to create, and it starts with a lot of brown, with some black, and why not? Let's take all this dirt and let's throw it all together for the rope, for the dirty rope, which is it fabric? Is it leather in the original, on the original character? I'm not sure about that. So let's just call it rope. And to get some really nice texture on it, yeah, it's fabric. It makes sense now. I am taking some real fabric. And before we will add some more details, it should look like an old rope, an old cloak. Let's remove that. Maybe we make it a little bit more broken, and then look at that, what I found. It was used for some fruits inside, and it gives us a really nice texture. I should do this more often with different materials and different textures. It looks amazing. I try this folding technique to make this fabric look more realistic, and then we can apply it to our character. Maybe adding some more details to the fabric. And to make it floating in the wind, gone with the wind. I will add this wire so we can put the cloak onto it. And this is the rifle. We will make some space for it. And there is another rope on the front part. It can hardly be seen, but I know it's there, because otherwise there would be no way to attach the rifle over the cloak. And there is this clothing mechanism, and also on the other side, this is where the rope is coming to the belt, and we're ready to go into the oven. Freshly baked! Last time freshly baked! Third time. Can't remember, I've put a creation 3 times into the oven. It should be a really fine pen to get all the shadows. This is the finished work we are doing right now, and I was so looking forward to that. I can't tell you enough how much pleasure this is, adding all the shadows where you think it should be a little bit darker, for example, and it gives the clay model so much more depth, even on the handle on the rifle, for example, and also on the cloak. Look at that. Oh, I love that. Right now it's a little bit shiny, but this will go away, so it will just look like shadows when it's drying. Also on the blaster. And now we take some silver for some smaller details and for all these damages on his armor parts, on the shoulder patches, and we get some more depth by adding a contour, an outline. Also for the rifle, some details, the blue sign on his shoulder patch, and now we make everything a little bit more dirty by adding this copper as a color on all the different parts. Let's remove the pens. This, guys, is the last working step, the transparent polish for all the shiny parts, especially for the helmet. I think I added 2 or even 3 layers on the helmet that it really gets shiny. Oh, I missed these signs on his gloves. Guys, I'm so excited! That's it! The Mandalorian! Before today's video is over, maybe you have noticed these stormtroopers in the background. Well, I have prepared the next Star Wars themed video and I've gone mad. I've really gone mad. Look at that. Stay tuned, have a great weekend and see you soon. Bye. I wish I could tell you I bought these stormtroopers. No, these are all handmade clay models. What am I doing with my life? You will love the video.